Alright, so let's talk about some things. Let's talk about some things. Like the title says, just say drama wins every time. When drama is a part of something, everybody wants to hear about it, see about it, know about it. I've been saying this since the beginning, especially as far as the RBE process. I've been saying it since the beginning. The beginning. When I started getting in tune with RBE, the bricks, the B1s, the intake, I said from the beginning that people weren't going to really tune in to you guys until some drama and some bullshit was involved. And I hate to say that I was right, but I'm right. I hate to say it. The folks that's really in tune as far as like battle rap and the culture knew about, like, I'm gonna say it like this. It's a nice amount of the talent from RBE that I knew about prior to them being bricks, them being intake. Knew about them before. Bose knew about them before. Zay knew about them before. You know, knew about them before the process. You know, and now it seems like when certain people get involved in certain processes or certain people they're associated with, attached with, it's like you act like either one, you don't know the talent, or two, the association makes you turn a blind eye to what they're really doing. It's crazy. It's crazy. But I've been saying this as far as battle rap for the longest that unless drama isn't ensued with it, people not talking about everybody. Unless if you're not co-signed by somebody, if you're not co-signed by URL, you're not on URL or co-signed by one of them, a lot of people ain't talking about y'all. This is media included. Like, it's only certain media that's really been covering as far as RBE, the intake, the bricks. Me, F Dot, Joey Nine, Space Baby Wayne, Qua, Tony Bro, as far as Black Compass. He even did the Thursday night spotlight with the new ballers. So it's like you have people who are in tune with RBE. They are in tune with the talent, you know certain things about the process. The 70-30 thing really seems to also be a topic with people. The whole 70-30. Like, I've even before I heard the 70-30, as far as wing in the process, I always said it's more to it than just being able to rap. Are you marketable? Are you approachable? Like, what else do you offer? Can you promote yourself? Can you promote yourself? Like, and I talk about this on Twitter all the time. I talk about this even with the battlers when we do interviews. Like, marketing yourself, being accessible to the fans. Like, you just had a whole space. Salute Big Cannon, salute Duballs, you know, about the whole whatever as far as 6'8" and what's going on. Unfortunately, it became a public discussion, you know, which, in my opinion, I don't know the whole situation, but could have been a conversation behind the scenes. You know, it ended up being a public conversation that they had. But I think anybody can see that when some people are not, has nothing to do with 6'8", but when people are not a part of a process, they do tend to negatively speak on that topic, speak on that situation that they are no longer a part of, they are no longer associated with. You know, I don't know too many people that are no longer affiliated with said person or said league and have yet to talk about it, because that just seems to be the trend. That seems to be the trend. I'm no longer part of this process. Let me talk about the process. Oh, y'all didn't know X, Y, and Z. Bam. Let me put it out there for y'all now. Or I'm no longer over here. Let me talk about it. Let me put certain things out. Instead of just being quiet and holding it down and not like putting anything out there. Like, I do also agree with the statement that some of the people that are no longer affiliated with certain processes, you were not being interviewed before. Some of you weren't being interviewed before, some of you were. And now that you're no longer affiliated with certain people, you're now getting these interviews. Or you're now being associated with certain people. So, to each his own. But I get tired of always hearing RBE don't have no talent. They don't have no talent. Or or they're not putting themselves out there, or about them being in spaces all day. Because them being in spaces all day is gotten to be a like an ongoing topic about being in the spaces all day. And one of them did specify that when like you have Raw Take Thursdays, Raw Take Wednesdays, I think it is. Yeah. So Raw has her space, 9 o'clock, 9:30 on Wednesdays. Two Petty Thursdays. Like somebody, Bells does trivia about lyrics that a baller said on Saturdays. This nigga said that's Bell's thing on Saturdays. So as much as you want to say they're in the spaces non-stop, there's some benefit to them being in the spaces. Does it get rowdy sometimes? Yes. Little dysfunctional, little unorganized? Yes. But for the most part, the spaces are good. That's their way to bond and talk about certain things and, you know, constructive criticism with each other. Because mind you, you're on to a whole nother season far as intake. Like this is season 2 far as intake. They like only a couple of them far as season 2 have wrapped yet. So a lot of them far as season 2, I do not know. There's a lot of them I do not know. And I don't learn or know more about them until like I do an interview with them to know certain things or look them up. Do I know these things? Like, and like the other thing is, I could be right, I could be wrong with this. It seems like because Wing's a woman, people got a lot to say. They got a lot to say. They don't want to really like listen to her. You know, that 70-30, Like, a lot of y'all can rap. You can rap. You can rap. But what else? Like, Averb is a prime example. You hate or love Averb. Averb is a prime example. Promotes. On the spaces. Goes in battles, then still promoting. Like, battles can come up from the spaces. Networking happens within the spaces. I'm just like, you may not be able to do what Averb does with his promotion, but it works for him as far as how he promotes and be in the spaces, whatever. Like, make your spaces productive. Make the spaces productive. That's the best way I can say it. When you have productive spaces, you know, of course you have somebody that comes in there talking nonsense. But for the most part, RBE spaces, cool. They in there they'll play around from maybe an intake. A few of them give some criticism. You know, that's good. That's good until you get to see them rap. You know, plenty of constructive spaces that RBE does. Plenty of them. There is plenty of talent. There's plenty of talent. You know, even the ones who either are not a brick or, you know, a lot of people know you guys from RBE. Caution, they know you from RBE. Pain, know you from RBE. Like, I remember when I watched Zay versus Pain, and I'm like, these niggas are fire. I want to keep following them to see how they progress over the years. Like, Peaches. Peaches is another one that I would love to see Peaches go to Bars and Roses. Maybe go battle a Rainy the Rebel at Bars and Roses. I wouldn't mind that. I was hoping for her and Jade, but whatever happened with that it didn't happen. But yeah, somebody go set that up. Let her go get Rainy the Rebel, or somebody set it up. Let Peaches get Cash Flow Rizzy. Um, you know, or like seeing that it has like a pipeline that goes to Queen of the Ring. Let her battle one of them, or her and Natasha, the author, that eventually she gets on Queen of the Ring and she gets a matchup over there. You know, like Peaches is very talented, very talented. Like, go watch her versus Drop the Ruler. Go watch her versus Drop the Ruler. Fire. Fire. So when people say there is no talent, far as the bricks, there's plenty of talent. You guys are not in tune unless there's drama associated with it. If there's not drama associated with it, you're not checking for it. We gonna call it what it is. We gonna call it what it is. They had the breed different. 22, I think 23 battles, no stumbles, no chokes. And most talked about that weekend, you know, a lot of leagues wanted to do a league versus league with RBE. So here's my thing. And if that's the thing, if the cool thing is to just say RBE don't have no talent, RBE is not the same without ARP, cool. These are all observations. These are all observations that you're clearly making. Cool. But Wing has done her thing with what she's done. With what she's done with the talent over there. The new B1s. BDMC. Fire. Ziggy B. Fire. New Ziggy B prior to him even being in the process. Um, I Am Spoken. Fire. Cash Kid. Fire. You want to see one of the best intake battles? Go watch Cash Kid versus Wordplay the Menace. One of the best intake battles, in my opinion. Marvelous, and OG Prime. Like, there's talent. There's talent. You know, whether you want to take the time to acknowledge it or not, that is totally different. Hey, Mike, chill out. Chill out, Mike. Because I can rightfully so say the same for some of your people as far as Florida, that people don't talk about them unless they got a name already. I can rightfully so say the same thing. But the folks that's in tune is in tune. They're going to watch. They're going to watch. I, like, am I wrong, Mike? Because it's an even playing field in a sense. It's some over there that people don't talk about. That's fire. That's fire. You know. But I'm just saying, but Ziggy B's over as far as RBE now. So you tell me how he go from Florida to RBE, he reps Carolina. Like, I don't know. That ain't my business. I ain't got nothing to do with that part. But I'm just saying. There's a rack of talent. There's a rack of talent. Like, all the intake battles are on RBE's channel. You can go watch them. Go watch them. I don't know about that one. Like, what game did y'all teach them? If that's the case, what game did y'all teach them? Now, I won't dispute you with that statement, saying that King Shaq wasn't the best over there. I wouldn't dispute it. I would definitely say whoever got to battle him, be prepared. Be prepared. Be prepared. Like, if you haven't seen King Shadow versus Marvelous, and that was brother on brother crime, just be prepared for the next person that has to stand in front of King Shadow. He not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park. I'm just saying, make yourself marketable. Bricks getting jumped at this point. The whole thing, far like I've said it since day one, the Bricks are talented, but I don't know the full everything to the process. But I do know some of them do have battles outside of the process. My thing is dominate far as RBE, and then when you have these other battles outside of RBE, go put on a show. Like, go get the dub wherever you going, and yeah, come back home with it. That's what you do, and that's what I say. The miscommunication or the understanding of the process. Those that are in it, it because Wings thoroughly explained it. But to people that are not in the process, it could be the language, it could be the way that it's being explained, that it just kind of sounds like a whole bunch. So maybe that could be a thing too, that Wing like does a video and she explains the process. Because everybody wants to talk about the process and what is the process. They got to do this with the process, and you got to pay this for the process, the 70/30. Like, maybe Wayne should explain that. And this is what I'm saying. I think to help people understand, like, Wayne should do a short video, like introducing the process, explaining how you have to go through the intake process, talk about becoming a B1, going from a B1, becoming a brick, and the in-betweens of what you got to do to get from intake to B1, from B1 to brick. And then how do you get from, like, with being a brick to being on the main stage, like getting certain matchups, like all that it entails that they have to do. It's a thought. It couldn't hurt, because it seemed like everybody has the same questions. And if it's detailed and explained, there's no room for misunderstanding. And that's what I'm saying. And I truly get that with URL. Their top set gets a battle on a respectable card. So that's why I say I would suggest, Wayne doing a very short video just to explain it. Explain from the intake to the B1 to the bricks to getting on a main card. How do they get in the blue room? How do they get on the max out? How do they get on the full surface? Like, within the video, she can answer these specific things. And then after she drops that video and explains it, there's no misinterpretation, because then you have it. It's just the name they use. Best and I'm a break me. And that's a thing too. Like, what specifically does that mean? Being a brick, what does it mean? What does it entail? Like, what do I get more that I don't get with being an intake, with being a B1, with being a brick? So that's why I say a quick little video to explain it, would clear up that. It would clear it up. I think that would help. If Wing did a video explaining the intake to B1 to brick process, and explain how it came about, why it's in place, and each part of it. So for anybody who's thinking about considering doing the process, now it's a video. You can go back and you can watch it, and you can't say Wing didn't tell you this or you didn't know this, because it will be in a video form. It's an idea. It's not that I don't think it would hurt. I think actually it would be quite beneficial. It would be quite beneficial, you know? Like I hate only time I see people talk about the bricks is like negativity. I hate it. Like it sounds like an intensive process, when you hear this, and this. That's why I say if Wing did a video and she explained it, it would maybe put it all together. And that's the thing. That's the thing. Is the like because I don't think some of them went through this process. Like when did because they're on season 2 now as far as intake. Yeah, season 1 you went through the process, but I don't think originally there was a process before season 1. So I want to know, like, Wayne can answer what led to the process coming about, why they have the process, and say B1 bricks and explain it. Because I think the whole thing with the B1 thing, like earlier, a lot of people say, I've never heard of a B1 until today. They only heard of bricks, they only heard the intake. So that's why I say the video would shore some things up, clear some things up, and then hey, Wayne can use this as, hey, now you know this is how this goes. She ain't got to keep repeating it a million times because it'll be in a video form. Like the whole B1 thing, it's like from my understanding is the ones that made it through the intake. They made it through the intake. And that's why I say it wouldn't hurt for Wing to do a video explaining it. I think that could help. I think it could help if she did a video because it is a little confusing with the intake B1 brick. Because if I don't know timeline, so I'm gonna say if I have to do boom, 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 boom within the intake process, and that takes, we'll say, 6 to 9 months. Then at the end, I battle whoever, and that got me to my B1 status. Once I get my B1 status, like to move up to be a brick, like how many battles do I need? Or whatever with that to get me to brick status. That's why I say, like, it wouldn't hurt to either write it out, and do a video explaining it. It wouldn't hurt because that helps for anybody who's potentially thinking about joining the process. Now you know what is expected of you, especially if she would tell like how long from intake to B1 status, from B1 status to a brick, like how many months or whatever it is. I think Wing tells it to him, but it's like with everything that's going on, do you fully remember everything? It is confusing. It is confusing. I'm not within like everything that goes on as far as RBE. I pop into their spaces, you know, every now and again. Some days I'm in the spaces a little bit longer, some days I'm not. But I think that is a suggestion that could help, could definitely help, you know, and telling that, if you're thinking about joining the process, for you to send where to send your clip. My like the idea for the RBE versus Florida, I like the concept. I like it. But it's a little more, I guess you could say, confusing as far as RBE, because they do have and say B1 bricks. So whereas you guys are just Florida, you could just pick whatever 6 names or whatever 10 names, and that's who represents you guys. Whereas maybe as far as RBE, it would be more so, hey, am I mixing a few intake, a few B1s, and some bricks? Am I combining the three? Which is still like talent levels. So I I like it. I like the concept of it. I do, for whenever it is to happen. And that's what I say. You know, whereas you're able to just pick your people, Wing has to be, I don't know, I guess we'll say strategic in it, because it's like there's some new talent, there's talent in the intake that I would I would want to put possibly on one of those type cards. There's B1s that I would want to get in the mix of one of these type of cards. There's bricks definitely to put on these type of cards. Like, it's not really an issue with the B1 brick thing. It's like some of the time that's what in the intake, do I mix them with it? That's the only difference with, I guess we could say, RBE and a lot of other leagues, a lot of other situations. Like the names, I guess we could say the names and the titles with it. But at the end of the day, it's all RBE. We're gonna say it like that. It's all RBE at the end of the day. So, however you wanna name that. Like, I think the league versus league battles is dope. Like, I was just talking to Chano earlier when I did the interview with him, and I mentioned him about potentially top 5 eye battle over there versus the ladies over at Bars and Roses. I thought that would be dope. We got to see how them guys do against name drops. They majority like us in Florida just battling each other. That is very true. For some of them, there are some of them who've had battles outside of RBE, like Sino Savvy's battle outside of RBE, Infrared's battle outside of RBE. So, whereas like I can for the most part, a lot of them are only battling each other. You do have some that are booked other places. Salute to Infrared. He just battled Arsenal recently. Like, that's fire. Nonchalant John has he battled, or he is battling Holmesy the God. I think he battled Holmesy the God recently. So some of them are battling outside of RBE. But it's just the fact of, my thing is, if you're battling outside of RBE, make sure that you're taking good matchups, and make sure that you're rising to the occasion with these matchups. That would be the best way I can word it, explain it, you know. Make sure that's what you're doing. But as far as RBE, the process is the process, you know. Wing obviously um put the process in motion because she felt as though it was needed. It was needed. That's why I say, and I'm kind of like hoping possibly she'll do it. Do a video and say, like, I'm pretty sure she's probably has explained it, but a video with for everybody else. Do the video saying to why the process came about and go from there into explaining the steps, you know. And the whole notion with the paying, you know, did everybody pay? Probably not. But how many processes do you know that you don't have to at some point kick out some money for? That would be my thing. How many of them you would eventually have to kick out some money for? You know? Like, I want to see more league versus league. TOS and Battle Academy is happening in August. Next month you got mutual hostility between RBE and the Battle Academy. I wouldn't mind seeing OSBL and We Go Hard. Like, I think that would be dope because Kels and B City have different birthdays. If I'm not mistaken, you know, they can kind of make that collaborative birthday something. Like, I think that would be dope. It'd just be like which matchups and who for a card would make the most sense. But I, the league versus league thing is where it's at right about now. Is where it's at. Like, I have yet to make it to an event. I keep saying I need to make it to one. I haven't made it to one yet. I need to see my schedule around the time of eminence. I need to see because eminence 5 is probably the card. The card that's going to be the most talked about next month. That's probably the number one card for next month, followed by RBE. Like, I don't know how Kills does it when coming up with these cards and these matchups, but like, salute to her. That's the best way I can say it. Salute to her. You know, that's just my thoughts on like some things. Just my opinion. You know.